Hello everyone, welcome back to JCfinger, and today we're going shopping at this mall that I've built. Marilyn Hospedales asked me to build a mall. I've done that, even though we do have a mall in everyone's town. It's called the Sunset Mall. It's very large, it's very beautiful, but you can only have 10 Sims there. And once you set them out to do the different hobbies, you don't have enough Sims to play around with. So this definitely gave me an opportunity to bring my Sims over and really enact the atmosphere of a mall. Now, having all of them over in this property here on 3 floors was as high as I could go. If I went any bigger, the game would have begun to lag, and that wouldn't make for a good video. The other complication is you don't have clothing racks in the game, and so I thought, how would I build a mall without clothes on sale? That's impossible. I certainly don't go to malls where there are no clothes in the window display. Now, I tackled that situation in a way that you'd see later, and of course you can get a glimpse of that right now, and you let me know what you think about that in the comments. I intentionally left the rooftop open so we can see all the way down through to the different levels, see what's in the windows, as you do in malls, and I was really happy with the feel of it. I could have covered up the top, but then we wouldn't get to see that properly, and so this is why it's displayed like this. The 1x1 pillars are an intentional design to make it look as pretty as possible. I also created a fire escape structure using balconies and stairs from top to bottom leading down to a basement. And that's quite useful for the number of Sims I have in the building. They use it to move around quite easily without just waiting for the escalators. I've also, as you can see, created some decorative platforms around the body of the building, including the 1x1 pillars, just to make it a bit more pretty and avoid creating a box simply because it's a mall. So this is the best I could do to get it looking the way it does, and these fountains fit nicely in the space right above the entrance to the mall. So lots of glass doors, usually some are automatic, some you open by hand in real life, and when you walk through, it's sort of like an open, massive hall space running right down the middle with shops on the side. At least that's how it is in the UK where I am. And you have areas in the middle that aren't actually allocated to lock up stores. You have little carts selling cooked pretzels and, local foods and things like that, and people eating. And so I decided to set up this crepe cart guy here to attend to most of the Sims in my mall. And this is typically what it would look like in London anyway. Now let's pop into Alan's photography. He's running this little business where he creates little portfolios for families. They come into his studio, change over into some suitable clothes, and then they go into the inner photography studio and have beautiful pictures taken of them, or portraits in this case, or even little videos about them. And they can, showcase them to their friends, to their family, or if they were models, they could use them for the future. This is the crepe being made. What is the difference between a crepe and a pancake? Don't laugh at me. I simply know that the same ingredients are used and one is thinner than the other. I prefer pancakes, by the way, because they're thicker with more bite. Now, this flower shop here is tended by Miss Thing here, and she sells potted plants, as you can see. This particular green one here, it's a mint plant. It comes from the Gingerbread House collection, and right opposite it is the Paradise plant, which I purchased with real cash. It was a deal that came into the store. It's no longer there. So the next store we step into is Make-A-Wish by Elsa, and parents come in here with their kids who make a wish, and Elsa would sculpt an item of your choice for your kids and pay a pretty penny. Now that's a tongue twister. It's like Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. I'm not even going to go ahead with that. I might bite my tongue. Anyway, so that's what this store is all about. You come here and meet a make-believe Elsa. Oh, come to think of it, I could have placed a snowman in there. That would have been Olaf. Never mind, next time. Now as we come over to this angle around the fountains here where the seats are, this is my shop window display of clothes. These are my version of mannequins. Yes, they're alive, waving from side to side, but they're as still as possible. They are trapped, so they can't go anywhere, but show off the fabulous dresses. I could do the same thing with teens, I could do the same thing with babies, but I think the babies would sit down and that would be strange. But yes, it's my wedding store. You come in, you speak to the consultant here, and she goes through a number of ideas for your dress. The father of the bride sits in the corner and panics at the cost about to be spewed out from that counter. And the bride-to-be just sits down and wishes for everything she could possibly desire. I think that's how it works anyway. So yeah, let me know what you think about my shop front window with clothes on display. Since I don't have racks, I wish Sims FreePlay would give us clothing racks for our closets. But anyway, these seats are placed around these pools, but they're not pools in this scenario. They are fountains, so they're only a foot deep. Now across the way from this fountain here is Bespoke Scandinavian Electronics.com, owned by a team here. They are the ones who would make sure that your TV, your radio, your sound player would be made or created with wood inserted into them. Great idea, no? Well, the thing is, I didn't want to stock this place full of very dark televisions. This was softer, easier on the eye, and this is my electronic store for this mall. Now, you would have to imagine that these ones on the computer here would look up a design, go over it with you, and then create something that you like and decide how much wood you want inserted into them. These things do happen, believe me. People look for different ways to spend their money. Now, out the back here is the exit, and this is my version of a sweet machine. So these preteens here are throwing in their pennies for some bubble gums and candy and a trip to the dentist. So this is the entire overview of this mall. We have the flower shop, the photography booth, the Make-A-Wish Elsa store, the wedding store, and the electronics store. Up these escalators lead to the next level in this mall, and that enables me to give you a proper view of the window display structure downstairs from the upstairs angle. As you can see here, this is a realistic view, as what you would expect to find in a mall. You have the models, or shall I say the mannequins, you have the crepe cart downstairs, people eating, Elsa's Make-A-Wish store, and so on and so forth. So this is something I really wanted to capture in the build for a mall. Now in this angle here we have a cafe where we have Monsieur here creating puff pastry, croissants, hot sandwiches, hot rolls, hot tea, and there are also cold drinks, might I add. Usually you have a number of these in a mall, but I've created one of every kind of store that could fit in the 3 levels that I've put together. I thought we definitely have to have a cafe, and we have bar stools and tables in the corner here, designated specifically for eating, while some other people would shop and eat as they walk around the mall. Others go shopping and don't eat anything at all, but that's certainly not me. That hot pretzel is not getting away. No, no, no. Now, in the early stages of building the mall, I built this tailor store as my option for clothing within this mall. It wasn't sufficient enough, but certainly that's the best I could have done. And so I still maintained it as a tailor store. So you come in here, get measured, and something bespoke is created for you, or even repairs are done in this space. But as I say, I kept it and still then created the idea of mannequins downstairs in the wedding store. Now across the lifts we have 2 other stores. I named this one mamabears.co.uk, and we have bubbles.com. Now bubbles.com is an aquarium type of store where you come and buy your pet fish, special feed, tank cleaning solvents and stuff like that. And I used these Prince in the Pocket size princess event rugs to decorate the floor. I thought that was lovely, and that's what we have as a store there. Now over on to mamabears.co.uk, it's a baby store where when you're expecting a baby, you come in here and buy all the things you need to set up a nursery. So what I've done here is create a very clean space, a bit like Mother Care. I don't know if you've ever heard of that store, but when you get in, everything is just squeaky clean and laid out beautifully. So you walk in here and then some kids run around and start playing with items. And although everything is in pink, you have to understand that the idea is if you want it in a different color, an order would be made for you. So blue, yellow, red, whatever the color is, mamabears.co.uk will provide that for you. Now we have a set of lifts that go up, but this is an overview of the entire floor. Now straight through the middle of those lifts is a set of doors that lead out to one of the balconies that meet up with the fire escape staircases, and up the lifts lead up to the restrooms for the entire mall. There's a couple of units for the ladies and a couple of units for the men, and I was quite happy that I was able to use these wide spa mirrors in there. I really like them, but I prefer when they're up against something like the lifts so they don't stand out really obviously. So there you are. Now I intentionally set them out here on the top because I didn't want them downstairs next to the shops. Just my choice. So there are 2 stores up on this level, and when you walk your way around you come through to the nail shop. Most malls do have nail shops, so you come in here, you get your nails done, and of course you get your feet done as well. So I've got a couple of tables for getting your nails done and a couple of chairs for getting a good pedicure. Now most of these items, or shall I say all of them, except for the center table there with a flower on it, that's from the French Romance event. They're all from the spa event, and I've realized now that these events do come back around, so you might be looking at some of these items and think, where do you get them? It's from the spa event. It came out last year around this time, actually, Mother's Day. Yes, so that's where I got them from. So fingers crossed this event will return and you'll be able to secure these beautiful items that have excellent interactive parts to them. Now across the way is my music store. In this store we sell guitars, and every single guitar in Sims FreePlay is on display here. So the Sims can't come in and just pick up one and leave. They are for display purposes. They would come in, sit at the computer with the help of a staff member, and place an order for one in the color of their choice. Initially when I built these stores, I packed it full of everything. For instance, this store had the drum kits, it had the pianos, it had the microphones, and it was completely crowded and chock-a-block. And then it looked like, I don't know, storerooms. Sims couldn't come in at all. And I then settled for the fact that I really want them to walk in and around the items as you would do in a real store. And so I've sort of peeled back from all the items that were in there originally. So this is an overview from the roof once again to the bottom. This is a part of the build that I'm really proud about. I love it so much, being able to look from the top all the way down to the bottom. Thank you so much, Marilyn Hospedales, for asking me to build this. I will keep this one in my town because there's so many sections in there that I can use for my little stories that I tell. And downstairs we have the basement. This basement is the car park. I've dropped one vehicle in there. It's not a real car, it's a toddler's bed. That's the boiler, and some ticket machines to pay for parking tickets. And then of course you drive out and then come up front, you know, somewhere make-believe, because I can't make that happen, and then you drive away. So yes, I'm really thankful that you are all communicating with me and making requests on what you would like to see. It's really helpful, and I only pick out one from all the requests in a week to display. And of course, in some instances I might not display requests in a week because I might want to display something of my own. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.